Hey, welcome back to the Professional Lovers channel. I am Patti.
And I'm Al.
And we are the Professional Lovers. And as usual, we are going to give some insights into the issues that faced our Married at First Sight couples this week, which is what we always do in an effort to give you some strategies and tools to have the relationship of your dreams. And I'm sure that's what everybody longs to have in some form or another. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
This week, our couples went on a marriage retreat. The four that are left, the 3.5 that are left, the 3.5 that are left. Olivia and Brett left last week, so
took the salt.
So it was sweet of Amani to help her pack the rest of her things. Just kind of check on her to make sure that she was doing okay. Surprisingly, Christina and Henry went on the retreat, even though their marriage is pretty much, yeah. And Christina hadn't even been spending a lot of time at the apartment.
They're in separate rooms.
And then last week, of course, the episode ended with Christina accusing
from a
Henry
that she received
of being gay. So this week, Henry kind of shared that with Woody, who
not in detail, but the fact that
the accusation was made, and the fact that their relationship is not really doing great. But it was interesting that Woody asked him, so you're supposed to be going on this marriage retreat.
Why?
What does that look like for you with your relationship the way it is? And Henry said, oh, she's going to act like nothing happened.
True.
And she acted like nothing happened.
Par for the course, yes.
Exactly. Now, I understand that you don't really, when other people are doing great, you're not that comfortable talking about how great you're not doing. You also kind of want to save face.
True, and you don't want to necessarily throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
Being diplomatic and whatnot, you go through the motions.
So when I think the couples were asking Henry, how you been doing? What have you learned? How have you grown? And he was
extremely diplomatic,
trying to say nothing while answering the question. And I think he was really trying to be diplomatic. But then, of course, when Christina was answering as though she's growing and learning about Henry, was that when Henry kind of chuckled and smiled?
Yeah.
And Woody was like, girl, what you talking about?
Really? Because Woody knows. I mean, Henry talked. So for her to even come out that way, as if we're going over a speed bump and we're moving forward.
But I think there's potential.
Yeah.
Not from last week, you didn't.
Yeah.
So it's hard. You got to walk that. It's like walking that line between being diplomatic, not wanting to throw the other person under the bus, but being fake, playing this role. That
for what? For everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the purpose?
And everybody can tell by how you're trying to not answer that things are not going well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a good feeling in the first place, but why compound the situation by trying to fabricate something that isn't?
And yet, they did fairly well in that game. And that kind of game, those kind of newlywed games are kind of misleading anyway. True. I mean, did they ever talk about whether or not they'd want worms in their pants or to eat bees? No.
Or how they use toilet paper?
No. I mean, so to use that as some kind of gauge.
Do you fold or crumple?
What do you think?
Fold.
All right. After 27 years, I'm glad that you could give the right answer.
It's only because I fold. I figured.
We're both kind of neat. So there you go. So it was interesting that they got a lot of those answers correct. and Woody was mad
because he didn't win.
because he had thought he was going to win, just like Amelia and Bennett thought that they had it in the bag, because those are the couples whose relationships are flowing.
They enjoy
no drama, no real headache, decent communication,
true growth.
Yeah.
Growth.
Yeah. And they both lost. And Karen and Miles won.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
But I can understand it. Whereas over the time, they have become good friends. They need to be more than friends because they're married. But they have gotten to know each other.
So that was pretty evident. Let's see. The letters were interesting, particularly Amelia and Bennett, because the purpose of the letter, as an exercise for the couples on a retreat, was to tell the younger self what to expect within the context
of this relationship, where they are right now.
Bennett completely missed that.
Totally.
What did you say? He went into guy mode. He went into guy mode and talked about losing $20,000
from when he was 9 years old,
from giving his friend his Pokemon card.
Oh my gosh!
And Amelia was like,
"What?"
Gee,
actually, she was disappointed. She was genuinely disappointed.
Yeah, because
it had no reference, no relevance to their relationship where they are right now. She was not included in that
And he tried to make it right by giving her, well, our relationship is great and we're having a good time, and that's why I didn't think I needed to address anything.
But I think her fantasy came down a little closer to reality on that.
Yeah. He dropped her a couple notches. But Henry and Christina's letters, they again were trying to say how they really felt about each other without really saying how they really felt about each other. And so we know that they're hanging in there just until the end. So they're playing the game. They're staying in the process, just playing the game, biding their time until decision day.
Sure.
Let's see. All right. So who else? Woody and Imani were Woody and Imani.
Yeah.
I mean,
we find that they, as their relationship from day one, they were not hesitant to communicate and ask each other tough questions.
Yeah, they don't shy away from hard topics. Like, even though they're feeling good about each other, even though they've expressed that they love each other, Woody did still ask, what
would it take
for you to say no? Now, I think that question caught Imani off guard, like,
because we're not thinking that.
Why are we talking about possibly saying no? But I found it interesting.
Well, understand. I mean, there's both sides of any and every coin. So, in understanding where you're going and how you're getting there, what would stop this ship? And I think it's just knowledge that I think both of them can benefit from, to know when they're broaching that situation or occurrence that we've already discussed, that is not a comfortable situation. And it's not only that it's not comfortable, but it would change our trajectory. So I just like the fact that they're willing to address
have that conversation. But when Woody was giving his answer about what it would take for him to say no, it kind of came across as though, well, I'm sorry, if you were just doing that, it'd be just like, no, I'm done. it came across as sounding inflexible.
Mm.
And it felt like Amani's expressions looked like that's kind of how she was taking it. Like, what? Like, you would just, if it was, if I did this, or if it wasn't this, and I'm just out.
Yeah, but again, and I understand, if it's that abrupt and like, okay, really anything could happen, but she had not shown any of that to get to that point to where they are right now. So, and his thing, I think he was putting a little bit of some other stuff into it from what he had realized
From
in
the other
the other
couples.
groups, that if it was anything like that, then yeah, we wouldn't, if we couldn't communicate, or if there was no, you know, intimacy, or a true relationship building
Mm-hmm.
in all aspects, then yeah, he felt that he wouldn't be able to try to fake the funk. It would be trying it all or not trying it at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, he and his Woody and his boy Miles have little, because you forget that they're best friends.
Exactly. And I looked at that for a hot second and thinking that if one of them did not work out,
mm-hmm.
that friendship would be fractured.
Do you think it would be?
I think to a certain
extent. Because
we
don't know right now if Karen and Miles are going to work out.
Yeah.
Because Miles has not seen evidence that he can trust that he could be with her for the long haul.
That he's going to get his needs met.
Right. Right. She hasn't been able to give him that assurance as of yet. Although it seemed like they did in this episode the most interacting. At least they were shown the most interacting between the game and the, the ladder golf. Mm-hmm. I've never even seen that before. That's pretty cool.
Different. Yeah, it was.
And she was whipping his tail.
Yeah.
But he was taking it pretty well.
Athlete. But she's an athlete too. I mean, she's athletic.
Yeah. Yeah. But they have become really good friends. I can't say best friends, but they have definitely expanded on the friendship level. Yeah. But you know what? I got lots of friends. True. I don't need to have just another friendship. And if she can't take it to the husband-wife level that includes physical touch and intimacy, then they're not going to make it. Yeah. And you can't blame them. That's an important piece, guys. Even if it's not, like the end all, the be all that ends all. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about you have to have, intimacy, sex, 5 times a day, 5 times a week. If you do, that's great. It definitely ebbs and flows anyway, mm-hmm. as your life changes and goes through its different periods. But to have nothing and you're a touchy-feely person.
Exactly.
I applaud Miles for going for 4 months with nothing. And he's only 28, 26?
6, I think.
He's in his 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, let that sink in. He's in his 20s. So those hormones are still...
No, he's raging.
They're still raging.
Ooh.
And he has had the control to exercise it out. And that is commitment.
Yes.
That is true commitment. So you have to have, though, a successful relationship is going to have emotional bonding, which happens through intimacy.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Anything else? I think we covered pretty much the most things. It was, the episode didn't focus so much just on the different individuals, the individual couples, like it has before. Yeah, a lot of group things going on. And so let's just get right to it. Our favorite couple of the week. Do we do a drum roll? You go first this time. Your favorite couple of the week is
Karen and Miles. And the reason why I say them is because I did see growth, and there was something that I saw in a response by Karen when Miles was talking about his emotional state of what has been going on during this pandemic time, relating to him being a black male and all of the stress and strife that has been a blow to the community, especially where they're living in New Orleans. And, you know, I mean, it's national, but he was very genuine and forthright. And again, this is a mixed group, you know, where everybody's getting together, and independently and individually, everybody's fine. But to understand that, you know, there's a situation that's going on that's bigger than all of them, you know, and it's encompassing the whole country. He was just being vulnerable and open about his overall feelings about it, and how his relationship with Karen and the manner in which they are discussing situations relating to, you know, their ethnicity and how they have to deal with things. And, you know, it was enlightening to see how she absorbed his vulnerability to the group. And it kind of gave me hope for her, thinking, and this is just me in my mind, thinking that was like an moment for her, seeing him be genuine, since that's what she always says that she wants to see.
She harps on that so genuine and authentic.
Yeah, you know, like he's not being, you know, genuine when he's just being a nice guy. He's a nice guy, you know. And, you know, I mean, he's very articulate, and to be as young as he is, he was very in tune to not only the day's events, but his feelings about the day's events. So.
All right. So for you, Karen and Miles, that's funny. They crossed my mind.
But
I ended up with Amani and Woody. And really, you know what clinched it for me?
Us.
Yes. When you said that they remind you of us.
Yeah.
And it's the comfortable banter that they have. The, you know, they're always joking each other. They're always, you know, they have a very comfortable vibe between the two of them. Even when they are talking about hard topics.
Yeah. But I think in their delivery, even in jest, that it's really coming from a very intimate place within themselves, you know, about how they feel about something in particular. And, you know, you can tell when they feel strongly about it, if it's something that doesn't, you know, really matter, because Amani said numerous times, I don't worry about the little stuff.
Right. It's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what you really have to have in a successful relationship. You have to keep your eye on the bigger picture and not let the little annoyances get to you, especially if it's about
laundry,
style, a difference in style, not a difference in value. And that's one of the tips in our book. You always know I got to bring the book in. Becoming a Professional Lover is that you have to have common values, but you don't necessarily have to have common styles.
True.
And so when it's an issue of style, he does it one way, you do it another way. You know, that's going to get on your nerves at some point. But
pictures, it gets done.
Exactly. So keep your eye on the big picture, where you're going as a couple, you know, and what you're trying to achieve as a couple. And that makes all of the difference in the world. So for me this week, Amani and Woody.
Okay.
And with that, we're going to say so long, stay safe, do everything you need to do to keep you and your family safe. And
respond, tips, notes, whatever it is.
Like, subscribe,
Yes.
share, and we'll see you back here next week. Peace.
Be safe.